Hi everyone, thank you so much for being part of this project. I truly appreciate you taking the time to um, uh, watch this video as well as answer the questions I posted on Facebook. So thank you very much for doing that. I promise I'll be very quick during this presentation. And before we start, I do want to apologize for my voice. I somehow lost last night. So I hope you can hear me very well. So here we go. The topic of my presentation is B12 vitamin deficiency amongst vegetarians and vegans. This is something that interests me when I was a vegetarian, so I hope that you find it very informative. Okay, so what is B12? B12 is a water-soluble vitamin and also essential vitamin, which means that it cannot be synthesized by the body, that we actually need to eat foods that contain B12 so that it can be absorbed and used by the body. The vitamin is only found in animal products such as fish, shellfish, meat, eggs, and dairy. Um, and they also found in fortified foods and supplements. Fortified foods is such as, nowadays a lot of rice milk, soy, coconut, almond milk. They're usually fortified with B12. It's always good to read the labels to make sure that they add the B12 in it. And also breads and flour, they usually also have that add on. Also supplements can come in the forms of vitamins, and also there is also injectable vitamins. So these are all good sources of the B12 for you out there. It's important to point it out that B12 from plants are not scientifically proven to have adequate levels of B12. So I know there's some information out there that fermented foods provide B12, but it's not actually proven to have so. So I would not rely on consuming those items since it's not scientifically proven. I want to share this picture with you on this slide. This is the digestion and absorption of B12. Um, just a very brief explanation. So if you follow the arrow going down, that's the B12 when it goes in from our mouth to our stomach. When it gets to our stomach, it's um, it's a very acidic place, so it gets bounded with um, what we call intrinsic factor, and they are what we call activated. Um, this activated form of B12 then goes down to the intestines, the small intestines, where it is absorbed. So it has to go through this process in order to be absorbed. The human body stores, well, I shouldn't say store, recycles, I guess is a better word, recycle B12 in the liver for a good 5 to 6 years worth. Um, the vitamin, it's essential for many, there's many health benefits. The vital for the health of the nerves, formation of red blood cells, production of DNA and RNA, and the deficiency can be rare, especially in U.S., which we are a developed country. However, when we apply dye elimination or we have some sort of malabsorption um, of this vitamin, then can lead to its deficiency. So as I showed the picture before of the stomach and in small intestines, if there's something, if that process is interrupted, um, there's some sort of malabsorption um, effect that it will, um, will impede the vitamin to be absorbed. But for the purpose of this study, we are not going to focus on that because there is a whole set of studies and findings. For the purpose of these studies, we're just going to be focusing on diet elimination, which is, you know, the cases of vegans and vegetarians. The deficiency can lead to impaired uh, cell division. Megaloblastic anemia is when the blood cells become very large and don't function well. Neurologic abnormalities, symptoms can range from fatigue, diarrhea, shorter breath, numbness, tingling sensation of finger toes, and actually in some cases causes nerve damage. There's also studies that suggest deficiency may increase the risk of Alzheimer's diseases, Alzheimer disease, and also some cancers, especially breast cancer. Other studies suggest also that they saw a linkage between B12 deficiency and heart disease, dementia, depression, as well as neural tube defect, which happens in babies. So for, like I said, for this purpose of this study, we will be focusing on diet elimination of B12. On this slide, I have listed some studies, but there's more. There's there's a British. The first study is a British study that they 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 found B12 to be the lowest amongst vegan and vegetarians compared to those who ate animal products. And this is because vegans they choose to eliminate, and vegetarians sometimes they do eat some sort of animal products, but they might not be consuming adequate intake. The study found that 95% of vegans and 31% of vegetarians they failed to meet daily required intake of B12. Additionally, vegans had a much higher concentration of folate, which is great. However, folate usually masks the deficiency of B12, which is a problem because it can go undetected. B12 can go undetected until serious health problems occurs. Um, so it's fundamental that vegetarians and vegans they do consume B12 supplements or some sort of um, fortified foods. There is a study, a 5 year study, showed that a group of vegans who consumed fortified foods had a much higher um, levels of B12 in the blood compared to those who did not consume fortified foods. Um, and also, two people in this study um, that didn't consume fortified foods were actually in the cutoff of B12 deficiency. Therefore, it is recommended that vegans and vegetarians consider um, taking the approach of eating fortified foods with B12 as well as taking supplements. The the recommendation by the Institute of Medicine, they do recommend that adults uh, at 18 or older, they consume total of 2.4 microgram per day, and that number actually do increase when a person is either pregnant or breastfeeding. And so this amount of 2.4 micrograms can be obtained from supplements, again, fortified foods, or even those who do choose to consume food rich uh, foods in B12 vitamins, so such as animal products. So if you do not choose to, it's important to stick with supplements and fortified foods. Um, and for those who are concerned about over taking the vitamin, um, there is no side effects, and they are considered to be safe even in higher dosage. So you shouldn't be concerned of if you're over consuming it. So the summary is that it's important to know that vitamin B12 is only found in animal products, and you shouldn't rely on fermented foods because uh, they have not been scientifically proven to have any adequate levels. Um, if you do not choose to consume animal products, it's important to choose B12 fortified foods and supplements, and again, consume at least 2.4 micrograms of vitamin of B12 per day. Um, so that is the studies that are the findings, and I hope that you learned something from it, and I hope that you found very informative. I really appreciate you taking the time to being part of this, and I will be putting up a questionnaire for you now to answer the questions after you watch the video. Again, thank you very much.